Welcome to Social SEO. Disclaimer, this is not going to be a hyper edited video, so if you have an attention span of a goldfish, do skip it because this video is not going to make sense for you anyways. You don't have the attention span. So, who is this video for? This video is for founders, podcasters, or people looking to create real money from social media. And who is this not for? This is not for content creators, entertainers who just want to grow followers, because that's the thing that got you here, right? Why follower doesn't matter and why you need to build a personal brand. So, why should your followers not matter and why should you build a personal brand? And what is a content machine? But before all of that, who am I to tell you all of this? Firstly, I only have 2000 followers on social media. I don't even get my videos to go viral. The only video that went viral for me was a VSL. It was a sales letter which got me 2000 followers. But the best part about those 2000 followers are each or every single follower is a founder. Because that's the only kind of audience I want, because that's the only offer that I have for these audience. And how do I know all of these are founders? Firstly, because I only get so many followers that I go to their profile to check what they're building. The second thing is, after that VSL, I got around 1000 qualified leads for my program and for my offer. So, how do you do the same without, like, as we saw the example of auto rickshaw guy who has around 40,000 followers but wasn't even making any money. How do you go from that to getting only 1000 followers and making ton of money, right? The only thing you need to understand is your content machine and what kind of content you need to create to get those kind of audience. So firstly, what is a content machine? A content machine is basically how do you produce content and how do you target your content to reach to your ideal ICP. I have been telling a lot of things about ICP and offer, but first we need to define what is ICP and how do you understand who are your ideal customer. So ICP basically stands for ideal customer profile, and we'll come to offer. So ideal customer profile, as it's quite self-explanatory. You are basically trying to target who is your ideal customer, because when creating content on social media, right, you need to talk to a single avatar. You don't need to talk to a lot of people. And if you see how I'm talking right now, I'm trying to use words in second person. I'm talking to you rather than a group of people. Like I'm saying you, yours, instead of saying somebody's, and this is how they were, right? So you need to do the same for your customer. Basically, what you need to get is your ICP. And how do you create your ICP? First and the foremost thing is, when you are trying to decide what kind of content you want to make, you basically follow the rule of Ikigai, right? I don't want to go in detail of that, but you basically need to find out what you are expert in, what is the skill, and what your people are willing to pay you for, and how it's helping the whole world, right? Once you get all of those things, like I basically like to talk about marketing, AI. This is something I am passionate about, and I know I'm providing a solution for all of those people by my offer. So this is some similar to what you need to do. Once you figure it out, now you need to understand how can I basically create an offer for that kind of people, right? So what is an offer? Offer is basically the service that you provide. So I will give you my example. I basically provide offer to founders who are building their personal brand. We help them go from 0 to 10,000 followers in 90 days, or we pay back the whole amount. On top of that, they don't even have to record any content because like AI does the job. So if you see the whole offer, like this is a very well curated offer. In this chart, your offers are not going to look like this, but the offer needs to be very simple. Basically, it needs to be what you provide, what problem you are solving. And if you see I am also giving a guarantee, right? So it reduces the risk for the person, and it looks like a no-brainer. On top of that, I directly pinpoint my ideal customer that are founders. I could say I am helping 0 to 10,000 followers for content creator, entertainers, or anyone, right? Instead, I should have just said 0 to 10,000 followers. But I'm seeing for founders who are busy building their business, right? Because that's the kind of audience I want. I don't want people who cherry pick every single thing, who goes into the details how things are working, right? And for that particular group of people, I'm also solving a specific problem. Because the problem those guys have is like they don't have the time to record content, because this recording content takes time, right? It takes around 30 to 40 hours per week for a person to record content. And I am removing all of that because for my ideal customer, time is a greater resource than money, right? So you need to do the same for your customers and create an offer like this. Now coming back to your ideal customer profile, let's say you have an offer. We'll talk about my offer, that is 0 to 10k followers for founders who are busy. And I also want those people to have some money to pay for my services, right? So if we talk about money, and also like the 0 to 10k follower seems like a good offer, like it's kind of a hook, kind of a headline. At the end we are also providing them leads, right? That's what most of the businesses want. They want, if you have 10,000 followers of your ideal customer, you are going to get a lot of leads, right? So that won't be an issue. This other thing that I want for those particular founders, what they need to have is what are their interests. Because see, if I'm going to build a personal brand for someone, the person needs to understand what are the benefits of a personal brand. Because if I start selling someone who doesn't even understand what distribution, personal brand, all of those things brings, right, they won't be willing to pay me, or they won't even understand what value I'm bringing to the table. So these are the problems, or these are the things that my offer is solving. Now, what would the ideal customer profile will look like for them? As described here, they will be founders, and if you see the age group of founder, it's nearly from 20 to 30, or maybe even going about 30. But this is the major group I am trying to target, because when I cut it short before 30, like not going about 30, the reason for that is they understand the value of personal brand, because they have seen many pages below, they have seen their colleagues, their founder friends blowing up on Instagram, and they understand the value of personal brand somewhere. That's why I'm putting a constraint from 20 to 30. Instead, not even taking it 20, 25 to 35 would be a better option for my ideal customer. Yeah. So you need to figure it out something similar to your. Now figure out what kind of content they like. Right? If I am a founder, what kind of content would I consume on Instagram? Because see, I am a founder, I run my agency, I know what kind of content I consume. So I need to get a similar mindset of the founder who is also on Instagram trying to scroll, trying to get some entertainment, but I also need to hook them to watch my video. So what kind of content? Firstly, most of the founders would be tier one founders. They'll be speaking in English. So that's another reason why I'm speaking in English, not in Hindi. The second thing that they would be more interested would be to get knowledge. Now, this is something we are going to talk about in detail. How do you provide knowledge or value to your customers? The other thing that they would be looking to get is some kind of problem being solved for them. And mostly founders, like that's a job of a founders, right? Solving problem. So if you solve a problem for them which they don't even know about, or which they are particularly struggling with right now, they will be happy to pay you money, because a founder's job is more or less solving problems every single day. The other thing, what kind of content they would be looking at, I will think about something. So more or less, this is how the ideal customer profile will look like. Now going back to the topic of the reel, basically talking about niche content, right? We'll take live examples. Firstly, of the auto rickshaw guy who was creating motivation content, who had around 40k followers, and versus me, who is creating niche content, teaching. My niche content is basically teaching founders personal brand. I only have 2,000 followers. He's probably not making any money because he is an auto rickshaw driver. No disrespect, nothing like that. But yeah, the honest truth. I, on the other hand, has already got 1,000 qualified leads which are willing to pay me more than $1,000 for my services. I think the difference is very clear here, right? You don't need 40,000 followers, because see, the motivation niche is very broad. You are targeting people from a very large pool of people. you're targeting a very large pool of people here, right? In comparison to where I am targeting a very few people, but the probability of them going to the next funnel or the next product or service, if they even have any, is very low, right? The percentage here is very low. Whereas in comparison to me, having that percentage is very high because people are here to get educated, people are here to get the value which I'm providing. And if it's a general problem for them and they have the money to solve it, they're going to come up to me, right? Because I have positioned myself as an authority in my niche. Why do you need a person, man? Well, I will be talking for my ICPs that are founders. Why do founders need a personal brand? Right? The first thing you get, obviously, leads. If you are creating content about the problem you are solving, it can be fitness, content creation, social media, digital marketing, client acquisition, anything. If you are creating and educating about that particular topic, if people have that problem and if your offer is great, they are going to come up to you because you are already solving it for someone else. The second thing is opportunities. Like I have been to many networking event, I have been to many places, and this is a common trait I see in many founders. They are looking to just they see opportunities like none other, and they just want to grab it as soon as possible. And the more traction you get, the more eyeballs you get, the more people who are looking at you, you get better opportunities there, right? The third thing is collaborations. Building a startup, building anything, building any business is more about collaboration than anything else. Because with collaboration, it's one plus one is three, right? We all learn about this synergy and merger. But yeah, this is very underrated. Like many people don't talk about it, but collaboration, like the opportunities you get. Like even I got message from some of the biggest creators. I got message from Raj Shamani, the person I look up to, even just after having 2K followers. And this is a leverage, this is an opportunity that most people don't. And I only got that opportunity, I only got to meet like so many people, so many founders just because of that particular reel that went viral for me. Right. So one reel can change anything and it gives you a lot of collaboration and a lot of opportunities. The fourth thing is like this is something that I recently had a call with one of my client and they mentioned as their problem of why they are building their personal brand. That is networking events, right? Whenever you go to events, basically they are in a B2B business and their service is very high ticket. And most of those people get clients. Like you might have seen founders and business owners in those niche, which only get clients and which only get leads through networks and which connection. Like even what we do for podcasters or people who want to go from 0 to 100 million for views, like that's a different offer that we sell, but we are only able to sell those two through networking. Even if I create content for that particular offer, I know I'm going to get very little attention, very little traction for that, right? So like this is the pain point he mentioned, because whenever he want, like the basic reason he wants to build a following is whenever people in his niche goes to those events, he wants them to come up to him to talk to him. He doesn't want to go to other people to talk. And like after building his personal brand, he has seen this change, right? Because like if you are creating content in your niche, if the other person, like the other world doesn't know about it, it doesn't matter. Because even in your industry, you become an authoritative figure. People come up to you to get those answers. People come up to you to understand what you are solving and how you are creating content, because they are seeing you every single day on their feed. And once they see you live on an event, they are going to come up to you and talk to you. So this is one of the major factor that he mentioned. And this usually happens when you are a founder who is well versed and he goes to a lot of networking events. And the fifth point related to this is investors. Trust me or not, like if you know this, like investors like to invest in distribution more than anything else. They have distribute. They if you go to like if you're building a startup, you are looking to get some funding. If your product is great, everything is great, right? You are starting off, and on top of that, if you have great following on Instagram, there is nothing else that is more attractive than that for an investor. Because the biggest problem in building any particular business, even if your product is great, if you don't have the distribution, you will be spending a lot in marketing, right? Even doing paid marketing, all of those stuff. But once you have those distribution, right, it is very easy to build your product, and you are basically getting a leverage which many other don't. So these are the major reasons why you need to create your own personal brand. Now, we talked about ICPs, we talked about offers. Now, let's get back to the content machine. You have figured out your ICPs, but now you want to create content for those ICPs. How do you do that? You do that by providing value to those particular ICPs. Value. You have got your ICPs. Now you are trying to figure out how do I attract those ICPs, right? Because if you want to go viral on Instagram, you can probably dance in front of the camera and go viral. But if you want to attract the right kind of audience, you need to create right kind of content for them. And you only attract people. The only reason anyone is going to follow you is because of the value that you provide, the information that you're giving. But what is value? So value is basically going from point A to point B, right? And the video that you are going to make, the content that you are going to make is going to be bridge between those point A to point B. And we need to clearly define what is point A. Point A is where the person is before watching your video, right? They don't know something, they are thinking about it, they are not very clear about the particular thing. The point B is after them watching the video and understanding the whole concept properly, right? And the bridge needs to be, like, there are attributes to the bridge that needs to be there, right? Because value can be anything, right? If I tell you right now in this video, if you clicked on this video and I just said 2 plus 2 is equals to 4, that is a valuable content. But is it unique? Is it new? Because you already know that, right? You have been learning it. So why would you watch a video that's explaining the same concept you already know? So you need to create some unique value that people don't understand. The second thing is, it needs to be a clear solution, right? Because if I start a video saying this is how you make $10,000 or this is how you need to get 10 clients in 1 month, and then I just leave it there, right? I just try to create the hype and I leave it there. I'm not giving any solution. And even if the solution I give is very half-baked, it's very chat GPT, not a solution that you can implement right now, it's not going to make any sense, because that's when you're leaving the person halfway in the bridge. The third thing is viable. The solution needs to look viable, right? Because if, let's take like the example, if I tell you this is how you need to get 10 clients, and then I say just spend 10 lakhs in marketing, right? Doesn't make any sense, because anyone can spend 10 lakhs in marketing and get 10 lakh clients. Like, obviously it depends on the offer, all of those things, but yeah, you get the point. If solution needs to be viable, it needs to be unique, it needs to have a clear solution that they can follow from point A to B. The fourth and the last thing is, it should be worth some kind of money, at least 100 rupees, $5, anything like that. Because if you are getting their attention, if you are getting their time, which is the biggest currency right now, right, you need to provide value to them. Because a person doesn't just follow you after seeing one reel of yours. They will follow you after they have seen 2-3 contents of yours, and after seeing all of those content, they think a similar thing, that this person is providing value. Only after that they are going to visit your profile and they are going to follow you. But in the first reel itself, if they understand it, it's not worth anything, the value that you're providing is not unique anything, they are going to scroll past, and there's a high chance they are not going to see your second video. So that's why you need to make sure that every content that you put out is valuable. Because if it's not valuable, then you're basically negatively reinforcing them to not watch your videos. Now let's come back to the main topic, that is how to sell. Now let's say you have got the audience, you already have a mix of ICPs. Now how do you sell to them? Right, the first thing to sell, like this is from the Alyssa Moses 3 book. Right, the first thing is you need to get the offer right. Right, how do you get the offer right? You basically solve a problem for the audience that you have, and you make it in a way which looks like a no risk, no brainer, and there's a deed like it's a lot to talk. Like creating offer is very like it's not very simple that I can explain in just a 10-minute video, but yeah, creating like I can explain it in a 10-minute video, but not in this video. This will take very long. So you need to create an offer. The second thing is let's talk about content, because if you just start selling in your content, whatever you are selling, people are not going to probably watch the video and scroll past. So you need to create a content bucket, and this is after that you have already reached a following. If you start doing it from the beginning, probably this won't work out. So how do you create a content bucket? Basically, you need to divide your content. Let's say you are pushing out 10 reels in a month. 5 of those reels needs to be valuable content. This is only content where you're trying to provide value, where you're trying to provide information, and this will help you build that authority in your niche. The second type of content you need to have are going to be 3 sales video. And those videos, these videos doesn't need to be full salesy, but it needs to be more of what you're trying to solve for the audience, right? And in those videos, try to talk about your offer, try to talk about how it can help founders. Now, the third type of videos, there are going to be two videos in that, and in those, there are controversial videos or videos that are getting you the eyeballs. The only purpose of this video is going to be to get the traction to your page, and it can be any controversial stuff you do, any trend that you follow, all of those things. So yeah, this was more or less how do you create a content machine to get your ideal customer profile and to get your ideal offer, so that you don't just miss out and just create some kind of following. Rather, you build a bulletproof brand for your ICPs which are willing to pay you. So, thank you. This has been Social SEO.